So, how are you? And I want to ask you a question. How often do you make conscious changes in your life? We are operated all the time by a part of the brain, which I like to call the primitive brain, which kind of keeps us in a routine, in a repetitive and safe place. How often do you get up, metaphorically, literally, out of your comfy chair and make conscious changes? Because you know what, if we don't change our routine, our thinking, nothing else changes. Everything stays the same. Now, why am I telling you all this now? Because you thought you tuned in to my full moon in Libra video. Well, you have. But I wanted to start it differently to illustrate the importance of change, because what I'm doing is I'm sending out a different signal to you, to me, and to the universe. Why have I used this full moon video to do this? Well, why not? Because, you know, we don't have to wait for a specific time or even a specific astrological energy to change. We can start now. So now I'm going to tell you about this full moon and why I think it is actually an incredibly significant full moon of healing. There is huge healing potential, but healing can't come if we don't make conscious changes in our thinking or in the way we look after ourselves physically. So, and also I want to say healing is achievable. It's always achievable, but we have to let go sometimes of our outcomes, and we have to let go and understand the limitations, the personal limitations that we may have. So this full moon in Libra is about faith, harmony, love, relationship, balance, and agreement, as opposed to the sign it is opposite, which is all about assertion, energy, the body, anger, disagreement, passion, and sexuality. These are the two polarities of the energies represented by this full moon. The moon, remember, represents the intuitive, feeling side of our whole being. It's opposite the sun in Aries. The sun is our life force. It's our very essence. It's our soul. It's our psyche. It's conjunct Chiron, the asteroid known as the wounded healer. And in turn, they are conjunct Jupiter, my big outer boy Jupiter, of luck, opportunity, expansion, limitless boundaries, no boundaries. There is no limit on the amount of healing that you can invite in at any time. It doesn't matter whether it's a new moon or a full moon. The full moon you could see as you closing a chapter, deciding to change ways of behavior, ways of relating not just to others, but the way you relate to yourself. We have to have a good, healthy relationship with the self. If we don't, none of those other relationships are going to work. Not really. So, also, Pluto, which is our planet our tiny dwarf planet of transformation, is significant at the moment and is going to be, apart from the fact it's moved into Aquarius, it's going to have a significance on and off through most of the year because it's going to be squaring. That's a, hang on, let me do it that way. It's a hard angle and it's a square, it's like a T-square to both the North Node and the South Node. One of the North Node is in Taurus, the South Node is in Scorpio, and we're coming up to a total solar eclipse at the end of April on the 20th in Aries, a second new moon, but this one a total solar eclipse in Aries. And I will do a separate video, as you know, about that. But what I want to say with this Pluto square the nodes is I cannot underline enough the immensity of the power of us taking personal responsibility for the changes we want to bring into our lives. We have to come from our integrity, our authentic self. We have to do that with whatever we're doing, whether it's relationship, whether it's our work, our health. Are you honest with yourself about your health, about your body image, your weight, your lack of weight, your gain of weight? How honest with you are you about you? We have, this Pluto square the nodes is underlining the enormous karmic change that the whole planet and everyone on it is going to experience throughout the next couple of years until Pluto gets fully comfortable in its new sign of Aquarius. So whenever we get a full moon, a new moon, any of the significant events, cosmic events, we have to look at how that node is squaring up to Pluto, because it's going to give us some more insight into the fact that in many ways things are almost not completely in our control. And in a sense, that's what the cosmos wants, because the cosmos has got far better ideas about how our lives should be than we have. I'm thinking about change again because I don't know if you remember, but in some of my videos, dear old Siri is always interrupting. Aren't you, Siri? Well, you're not now, because it suddenly occurred to me, and this could be, in a very simple way, a Pluto node expression, or because Pluto has gone into Aquarius, which is about technology, and also because it could be my full moon moment of ending something, taking control, deciding to end a significant relationship. Well, mine is with Siri. I went into settings. I discovered there is a way, apart from just do not disturb, I can switch him off. How did it take me so long to realize all I had to do was go into settings and switch off Siri? So if you have Siri or Alexa, there's a little heads up for you. Go into settings, go into Siri or Alexa, and just switch off all the notifications, everything, so that even when it's in do not disturb, you won't be disturbed. Oh, the power of being able to control AI. And we are going to need to have a better relationship, full moon in Libra, with AI, because that is what is going to unfold throughout the next 20 years with Pluto in Aquarius. There's going to be such a technological shift that we haven't seen since the Industrial Revolution. Interestingly, another time when Pluto was in Aquarius. So back to this full moon. We have Saturn, my big outer boy Saturn, in Pisces. That's boundaryless, it's going all over the place. Sextiling, that's a helpful aspect. Mercury, our planet of communication, newly arrived in Taurus. So this is a time for some sensible, down-to-earth discussion with the significant people in your life, whether that is personal relationships, business relationships, or friend relationships. If there are things that need to be sorted out, addressed, looked at, oh my God, the weight that will lift from your heart when you address these issues and sort them out. That is another example of getting outside of our comfy chair. When we are assertive, Aries energy, full moon, Libra, opposite. When we are assertive and face something that is challenging or difficult. I did this just yesterday. It didn't exactly bring the result I had wanted, but it made things clear, and that's fine. Close. End that particular situation, and that's fine. We can all move on our own paths. So what else can I tell you? How is this going to play out in terms of your individual signs? Because I think this is probably what we need to look at next, because I think it really helps to know what part of your natal chart is being affected by this full moon. So I just want to say this before I go into your individual signs, and remember to listen not only to your sun sign, but your rising sign. Some people also listen to their moon sign if they know it, and that can also give you a kind of a vague heads up as well as to what's going on. But new life, new thoughts, new relationships, new beginnings. Aries, you thought I was going to talk about Libra. Aries represents the I, the ego. And to have relationships that are healthy with another, as I've already said, has to start with the healing of our soul and psyche, thus enabling us to let go of the outcome and establish first that true relationship with the self. So you could say, in spite of Libra's kind of duality and balance and looking for both sides of the argument, this is first and foremost about that relationship with you. So I really do highly recommend that with this full moon. Let's look at your individual signs, because Aries, this really is about relationship. It's about the significant relationships in your life. So look at where healing needs to take place. And remember to bring that healing to you first. If something isn't working and something has always struggled, maybe it's time to look at, how is this serving you? Is this actually good for your soul, Aries? It could just be a friendship. It could be a business partnership. But if it's not serving you well, then I suggest you let it go. Taurus. This is about your routine, Taurus. This really is, and it's interesting because I'm a Taurus sun. So if you're Taurus sun, Taurus ascendant, Taurus moon, this is how we address our routine. Sometimes, which is how I came in with this video, changing our routine is just magical, because it changes everything. And this full moon is giving us the opportunity, the impetus, a little bit of fuel in our tank to go right out of this comfy chair, change the routine, have lunches instead of dinners or something, because I think we get into a routine of, and I have my breakfast, and I have a banana for breakfast, and I do this, and I do that. Taurus, you are quite fixed. Do something different. Have an orange. Just do something different. Because what it does is it sends different signals to the brain and to the kind of more ethereal brain, the kind of psychic brain, to fire different neurons, different, what do they call them? Neural pathways, to change your brain, to give up bad habits. Brilliant full moon for giving up bad habits. I have a list. I will maybe not address all of them at once, but I'm certainly going to address some of them. Let's move on to Gemini. Gemini, are you taking things too seriously? Because you do think, and sometimes you overthink. And this full moon is asking you to take a step back and actually give yourself a little bit more slack. Give yourself some credit for what you're good at, for how you entertain yourself. Do something nice for yourself. It's Easter weekend. Buy something new if you can afford it. Go to a second-hand store, a thrift store. Find, in the old days, it was sort of always, the Easter bonnet. Bonnet is such a wonderful kind of old-fashioned idea. All the ladies wore their new bonnets to celebrate Easter. What do you need to do to celebrate? To celebrate your life, Gemini? It may be as simple as that. And it may also be about changing your habits. Cancer. This, of course, is in the part of your chart that is to do with your home and family. Maybe this is about having some family time, actually taking time out. Maybe there has been a sense of distance with certain family members. So this is actually about making those changes and healing some family rifts. It's beautiful energy for that, and you'll be so glad. It might mean you have to make changes too. You're a cardinal sign. Of course you can do it. Leo. This is about the way you communicate. That's very interesting because, as I said, I'm a Leo ascendant. I don't mind who knows my chart. I'm quite open about it. Leo ascendant, it's in the communication sector, and this is exactly what I'm trying to do. Or I'm trying to move out of my comfy zone with my videos and find a different way of communicating. Please drop me a comment and let me know if you find it very disconcerting that I didn't start or don't finish in the same way. But it's an experiment, and if we don't experiment, we don't know. Because if we don't take risks, we don't know, and we stay the same. And you know what? If things stay the same, they get stagnant, and then it's not nice. So Leo, change the way you communicate. Find different ways of communicating. That's what I want to say to you. Virgo, this is about your relationship with yourself and your kind of financial situation. This is asking you to value the fact that you actually do have quite a lot of understanding of how you manage your affairs. Sometimes I think you try too hard to get everything perfect. This is asking you to stand back a bit and also change that routine. Don't do the budgeting on a Friday afternoon. Leave it till, I don't know, a cup of tea on Saturday afternoon. But just do something different. I really want to get this across to everyone with this full moon. Do something different. It changes the energy. Libra, this is about you. How much of you can you change in a really positive and healing way? You can be the instigator, the pioneer. You can lead us all in getting up out of that comfy chair, moving across the room, moving the furniture around, saying, I think I will sit in this chair now. Not for long, because you'll have to change it again. We get a different perspective. I always remember at some point when I was training as a psychotherapist, and I can't remember and why it's popped into my mind, but one of the tutors at some point saying something about if you're not in a good place, sometimes it's a really good idea to go and just stand in a different part of the room and look at it from a different perspective, to go and sit in a different chair and look around and see the room in the way one sees it from that perspective. So it's the same kind of principle. If we're caught in that routine, it is just can be so restricting for us. So let's move on to Scorpio. Scorpio. So for you, this very much is about how you take care of your inner world. What are you so fixed about in what you think about? Do you have views of yourself that are a little bit outdated, that really need to shift, that need to change? Do you have relationships that really don't serve you well? What needs to change in your life, Scorpio, that would be like a fresh new start? Sometimes it's good to make a list of what's good in your life or of your habits, and then look, how could I change this habit? Do I need this habit? How could I change it? How does it serve me? There are all ways you could deal with this energy. Now let's move on to Sagittarius. Hopes, dreams, the community at large. How does that work for you? I think you are feeling that you want to be far more connected with the community at large. It feels to me as if there is a part of you that wants to rise up above the mundaneness of life, of the news channels and the stuff we get fed with all the time that on one level drains us, which drags us down. We hear such terrible things. And I think, Sagittarius, you are recognizing how you can rise above that personally. That you can connect with a kind of higher vibration. And that once plugged in to that higher vibration of you, you can send out all that sun Chiron healing energy for the community, for the collective, to have a better relationship with itself. Capricorn. Well, of course, it's always about work for you, Capricorn. You are such hard workers. But you know, you can still make changes in your working life and in your routine. I think you need to get more work-life balance. And I think this is what this full moon is saying. I think you've been through a time where work has been full on, really hard going, really kind of just really busy. So Capricorn, look at ways that you can delegate. Look at the kind of streams of work that you do. Are they all really necessary? Could they be gathered together under one heading? Only you will know what this means to you and how you can organize that, because I don't think it's helping your home life. And I think at home, you need to spend some more time at home and have the healing energies that you can really sense and feel by by moving your comfy chair at home and actually making it more of a comfy chair, because Capricorn, you tend to be a little bit austere and you don't always give yourself maybe the comfort or the comforts of home that, say, a Taurian would want. Why not make it a bit more comfortable? Could be good. Aquarius. Wow, Aquarius. Aquarius people are going to change so much over the next 20 years. And you are going to really feel this shift coming over the next 2 years for sure. I think for you, this full moon is showing how it would be really good to find different ways to tune in again to that kind of almost like collective. Carl Jung called it the collective unconscious. We might have different terminology for it now, but there is a way of communicating with the community, with the collective unconscious in a kind of deliberate, creative way. When I don't know if you might not have listened to all the signs, but on one of the signs I was talking about changing the neural pathways in the brain so that we actually suddenly don't want to sit in our comfy chair or have the same comforting cup of hot chocolate at, 10 o'clock at night. We suddenly think, oh no, I don't think I want that now. This is something about being able to connect to the collective Aquarius, to work with changing the kind of collective unconscious neural pathways into one of healing, one of communion of the soul with everyone. I think that if you can start with yourself and those that you are close to, it will be a great beginning. And you'll be surprised how you will change. And finally, we come on to Pisces, of course. How can I not do my Pisces motions? I bet you were all worrying about that. Is she going to do her oceans of emotions? Yes, of course, I'm going to do my oceans of emotions Pisces. This is a hugely transformational full moon for you. It's in your 8th house. With this full moon in your 8th house, yes, it's about sex, death, tax, money, other people's money. There may have been things going in your life that have been quite challenging, even shocking, quite difficult. And you're really desperate for some healing and balance. You need to balance the books, but you know what you need to do? You need to balance your emotional books. So try and step away from what might be going on a literal physical level in terms of your financial setup. What you've got, what someone else has got, what someone's going to pay you to do this, or your job, your income. Look at what it costs you emotionally, physically. Please put yourself first, Pisces. Use the energy of Saturn, my big outer boy, of boundaries, of timing to slow you down, to slow your emotions down. I think you're going through what might be called emotional turbulence, like we're in a plane going through a storm. Remember, we always come out the other side. Some of you may have gone through it and are be coming out the other side. Some of you might still be going through it, and some of you are thinking, I haven't yet, is that to come? Don't worry, if it does, you will get through it. You're actually quite resilient, Pisces, because you're mutable, you're flexible. You will adapt to the new set of circumstances that the cosmos is providing. And if the cosmos is trying to get you to go in a different direction, trust it, have faith. It's where you're meant to be going. Remember, it's thy way, not my way. Thy way. The way of the divine. So on that note, thank you so much, all of you, for coming to watch this alternative video for the full moon in Libra. That's my way of making changes. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Really value your support here. I would love it if all of you could go to my website, which is pennydix.com. It is in the drop-down box, and subscribe to my website, because I'm going to have some really cool offers on there. There's going to be an astrological training course, just a short beginner's one. And there's also going to be an opportunity for you to put in all your information and for me to give you your proper birth chart so that you know what your rising sign and your moon sign is. This is all new stuff coming up, but you need to be registered, signed in to my website to do it, or rather subscribed to my website to do it. So if you can do that and want to look at all the new things, exciting things that me and my team have got planned for the coming next part of the year, then I'd love you to subscribe to my website. And please subscribe as well to the YouTube channel. Thank you to all my regulars. Thank you, all of you, for being here. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.